various parents to come up and join us for Deck the Halls. And now I'll ask Emily to come up and do the welcome.
A long, long time ago, the galaxy far, far away.
Well, sorry. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Honolulu. My name is Emily Moffel. I would like to thank you for joining us today for the RE-led service. We are glad you have came today to share in the holiday of joy.
All right, welcome to All Together Now. In the spirit of Unitarian Universalist traditions, this is a pageant that draws from many religions and spiritual practices, Christianity, Judaism, paganism, and others. We've gathered together to find joy and meaning in the presence of each other in this wonderful place. We invite you with open arms and hearts to join us. All are welcome here, especially children. And we'd like to say thank you. Can you say thank you, Auntie Lisa?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dennis and Leslie and the spirits. We couldn't have done this without you. With that, I turn it over to Eleanor.
So just a few announcements this morning before we delve in. On Thursday night, the 24th at 7 p.m., please join us for the Christmas Eve service featuring our fabulous band, The Spirits. And on that spiritful note, we have a new spirit. Her name is Beth, and she's on the flute. Welcome, Beth. And next Sunday, the 27th, our next minister in residence, Adam Dreyer, will be in residence. He will introduce us to his understanding of embodiment. I don't know what that means, but he will apparently tell us what that means. So come on next Sunday. We take a moment to acknowledge and give special welcome to anybody who is joining us for the first time. I see some new faces and chalets in the back and in the front. Welcome, welcome. Please join us after the service. Yay, welcome. And applause. We are so excited to meet you. After our children have filled us with joy, let us gather newcomers and old-timers and fill our stomachs with the delicious work of the hospitality team. Fill our eyes with the wonderful art in the gallery. It's a show called Convergence. And fill our souls with discussing with one another and sharing. At this time, please do your final checking on social media, and please switch your various devices to worship mode. And I'm now going to ask Lulu to come up and ring the bell.
Worshipful place. It's always so reverenced. We have traditionally called the directions as our opening to our solstice services. Last year, my son Zachary was here from the mainland for the holidays, and when he heard us call the 4 directions, he commented that calling north, south, east, and west didn't make sense here in Hawaii. And so, inspired by his comment, this morning I ask you to please stand if you are willing and able, and let us turn Makai and invoke the spirit of the ocean, the element of water, ever flowing, always moving, to remind us that change is a constant in our lives and to encourage us to always be flexible. Let us turn Eva to invoke the spirit of the plains, the element of air, ever open and spacious, to remind us to open our eyes, our ears, and our hearts, and to all that life has to offer. Now let us turn Mauka and invoke the spirit of the mountains, the element of earth, ever strong and reaching for the sky, to remind us to stand tall and straight in the face of adversity, while keeping our feet planted firmly on the ground. And finally, let us turn Diamond Head and invoke the spirit of the volcano, the element of fire, to remind us to nurture our passions and explode with delight at the wonders of life, while being aware that creation and destruction are both essentials of our existence. Oh, great spirits, ground us in the wisdom of Hawaii, our adopted land. And so it is.
Long ago, in the beginning of time, we imagined there was darkness. On solstice night, too, the night is longer than any other night of the year. Even here in Hawaii, so close to the equator, where days don't vary too much, our night will still be long. Solstice, Hanukkah, Christmas, and many other cultures and religions around the world acknowledge that this is a special time of the year.
It is dark, it may be cold, and it is a long time from the spring and summer when food was plentiful. Yet these are some of our most special holidays, for they are when hope can freely return. Suddenly, by some miracle that you cannot always understand, the days begin to get longer. The glorious sun, provider of all light and life, begins to linger in the sky. We are here, and life is good. So in this time of darkness,
let us take a moment and revel in this festival of light, this celebration of the sun returning, of people near and dear to us.
let us gathered together on this small, isolated island and took a moment to revel the wonder that all the lovely, wonderful, fantastic, joyous things can happen, that we can help to make them happen.
Spring will come again. No one knows exactly when. Still the sun's a long lost friend on the longest night of the year. We stare into the firelight while December beats outside, where the darkest hearts reside on the longest night of the year. So keep me safe and hold me tight. Let the candle burn all night. Tomorrow, welcome back the light. It was the longest night of the year. I used to think the world was small, bright and shiny like a ball. Seems I don't know much at all on the longest night of the year. We press our faces to the glass and see our little lives go past, wave to shadows that we cast on the longest night of the year. So keep me safe and hold me tight. Let the candle burn all night. Tomorrow, welcome back the light. It was the longest night of the year. On the longest night of the year. So keep me safe and hold me tight. Let the candle burn all night. Tomorrow, welcome back the light. Was the longest night of the year. So keep me safe, hold me tight. Let the candle burn all night. Tomorrow, welcome back the light. After the longest night of the year.
Thank you, Mary Chapin Carpenter, for that solstice song. I am Katie Ackerman, your GLRA. Now, we don't have an official sermon, but I get this mic for a whole lot of time, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to read you a story today, so settle in, relax, okay? Yeah. And if you have kids and they, pipe up, that's just fine. So, this story is called The Mole Family's Christmas. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and it was written by Russell Hoban and illustrated by Lillian Hoban, and I think some of you know what fans I am of their work. All right. Harley Mole and his son Delbert did straight mole work. They tunneled, and they dug, and they brought home the groceries. Harley and Delbert wore overalls, and thick boots, and heavy work gloves. They wore thick glasses, because the whole mole family was very nearsighted, and they had little lanterns in their caps because they tunneled in the dark. They tunneled in the springtime and the summer. They tunneled through the fall and throughout the winter. Well, Emma, Harley's wife, cooked and cleaned and washed the overalls. All three of them worked every single day, and all the days were the same for them. In the evenings, Emma mended overalls and work gloves while Harley and Delver cleaned the lanterns and scraped the mud from their boots and rubbed them down with tallow. When Delver's chores were done, isn't he a good boy? He has his chores and he does them. He picked and sorted through his collection of good-shaped stones and marbles and bits of colored glass that he had found while he was tunneling. And sometimes he just sat around and thought. Delver is a brooder, Emma used to say to Harley. Delver is a thinker, Harley always answered. There's no telling what that boy might do when he puts his mind to something. Now, the Mole family's home was under the lawn of a house that had been empty for a long time. But that fall, a family of people moved in. And that winter, very early one morning, when everyone was still asleep, Delver tunneled up through the earth and snow to have a look around. At the back door of the house, he found a house mouse looking at a calendar the milkman who used glass bottles had left with season's greetings from the dairy. Christmas is coming, said the mouse, and he ran into his hole. Delver thought about that all day, and at dinner he asked his mother and father, "What is Christmas?" "I have no idea," said Harley. "No idea whatever." "Neither do I," said Emma. "Perhaps it's a people thing." Delver thought about it some more, and that evening, when his chores were done, he went up to the people house. There he found the mouse again, dining on birdseed that had fallen from a feeder. "What is Christmas?" Delver asked him. "Several different flavors of paper and cardboard," said the mouse. "Fresh paste sometimes and no end of ribbon, string, and nesting material. Constant footsteps overhead and no rest for anyone until he's come and gone." "Until who's come and gone?" said Delver. "Fat man in a red suit," said the mouse. "White beard. First there's a lot of stomping and snorting and jingling up on the roof. Then he comes puffing and wheezing down the chimney, puts knickknacks and candy in the stockings, leaves all kinds of packages around and says, 'Ho, ho, ho,' and goes huffing and puffing up the chimney again. It's quite an odd thing, really. But he only does it once a year and nobody seems to mind." "What's in the packages?" said Delver. "Skates and train stalls and whatnot," said the mouse. "The people children write letters, and if they've been good, the fat man brings them what they ask for." "Does he bring you anything?" said Delver. "No," said the mouse, "but then it's not my chimney and I don't write letters. It's late," he said, "and I've got to be getting home before Ephraim Owl comes by on his evening rounds. Lovely night, isn't it? Look at those stars." "Where?" said Delver. "Up in the sky," said the mouse. "Where else?" He shook his head and ran back into his house. Delver looked up, but he was too nearsighted to see the stars. When he squinted hard, he could just barely make out a blurry brightness here and there, but that was all. He was still squinting up at the sky when a mouse came by to nibble at the birdseed. "The stars are especially fine tonight, aren't they?" she said. "They certainly are," said Delver. "Indeed," said the mouse. "It's almost like singing, you might say, the way they glimmer and shine, isn't it?" "Yes," said Delver. "I think it is." And he went on squinting while the mouse went on nibbling. And after a while, Delver said, "Do you have any particular way of looking at the stars?" I just look up," said the mouse. "Of course, I have seen people looking at them with telescopes, which is, I suppose, a particular way of looking." "Look out!" she cried, and dove into the shrubbery, pulling Delver with her as old Ephraim Owl swooped down upon them. "Hoo-hoo!" said Ephraim as he flew with nothing in his talons. "If not this time, then some other time," and he flew away, hooting and chuckling. "You'd better keep your eyes open," said the mouse to Delver. "He almost caught you." I was thinking, said Delver. What's a telescope? I believe that a telescope is something like an extra, very far-sighted eye, said the mouse, which would undoubtedly be helpful to anyone who might be somewhat nearsighted. Undoubtedly, said Delver. Thank you very much. Good night. And he tunneled slowly home, thinking about the stars. All the next day, Delver worked with his father. While he thought about the stars he could not see. And after a while, he began to cry. What's the matter, said Harley, and Delver told him about the stars. I went above ground a time or two when I was young, said Harley. I heard about stars too, and I know how you must feel. There are telescopes, said Delver, and he told his father what the lady mouse had told him. I wish I had a telescope, said Delver. So do I, said Harley. It would be nice to see a few stars, just for the experience, if you know. Maybe if we had a chimney, said Delver, and he told Harley about the fat man in the red suit. Ah, said Harley, but that's a people thing. I never heard of a fat-suited man giving anything to animals. And anyhow, said Delver, we haven't a chimney. We've got a stovepipe, said Harley, same as any other animal. You've got to have a chimney, said Delver. A people-sized chimney, said Harley? Well, said Delver, it has to be big enough for his hand, with a telescope at least. All right, said Harley, taking a deep breath and drawing himself up to his full height. We'll make a chimney. When Emma was told about the project, she had many doubts. I'd like to see the stars as much as anyone else, she said, but we mustn't get our hopes too high. Nevertheless, she threw herself wholeheartedly into the work. The Mole family had made many nighttime trips above ground for sand and cement for their mortar. Harley and Emma and Delver carried pieces of broken brick and heavy stones, always watching and listening for the owl. Old Ephraim failed to catch them night after night, but vowed that he would sooner or later dine upon them. The longer it takes, he said, the better you'll taste. But the moles kept working on their chimney in spite of Ephraim, and every night it grew higher. The mouse, who had told Delver about Christmas, showed him how to spell out the words for his letter. And by the time the chimney was half built, he was ready to mail it. The question was, where to? I know he comes down, said the mouse. So if I were you, I would send the letter up. So the moles found a very long stick with a cleft at the end, and they stuck it in the snow and stuck the letter at the end. And the letter said, for those of you readers, to the fat man in the red suit. All of us moles down here have been good. We need a telescope so we can look at the stars. Maybe you don't give things to animals. Well, then I will swap you my stone collection and glass collection for it. If that is not enough, my father and I could work out the difference in tunnels or plain digging, if you need any tunnels or plain digging done. Your friend, Delver Mole. A very nice letter if I received it. Please, okay, so that night, the mole stopped work before old Ephraim made his rounds, and so they were in bed when he passed overhead on silent wings. Old Ephraim saw the letter on the stick, snatched it up in his talons, and stuck it in his back pocket and flew away with it. When the moles came out the next night and saw the letter was gone, they were all very pleased. Well, said Delver, now that it's been picked up, it's just a matter of time before the telescope comes. Then the moles worked very hard, every night to finish their chimney. All of them hoped very much that the fat man in the red suit would come, but each of them thought perhaps he might not come. So just to make sure that Delver and Harley would have something for Christmas, Emma knitted new mufflers for them. Harley made a pair of pretty slippers for Emma and a pair of moccasins for Delver. Delver made a sewing box for his mother and a reading lamp with a green ginger ale glass bottle shade for his father. Then all the moles wrapped their presents and hid them. Even if the fat man doesn't bring a telescope, said Emma to Harley and Delver, he may leave some other little presents, you know. Just what I was thinking, said Harley. So was I, said Delver, and all three of them smiled to themselves. When the moles finished the chimney by the light of the moon on Christmas Eve, they were all exhausted. There they are sleeping. They sat on top of their chimney and sighed happily, smiling up at the stars they could not see. And they were so tired that they all fell asleep, sitting there in a row. They were still sitting there asleep when old Ephraim flew over. "Hoo-hoo," said Ephraim. "There they are, like a little 3-course dinner, all ready and waiting for me. I'll just swoop down and they'll jump up and run, but they won't be fast enough." Ephraim swooped down, but the tired moles stayed fast asleep. "This doesn't seem quite right," said Ephraim, and he flew up again. "I'll hoot very loudly and count to 10 to give them a head start, and then I'll catch up." "Hoo-hoo," he hooted, "wake up!" But the moles would not wake up. "Silly things," said Ephraim. "They write letters about telescopes and stars, and they sleep out in the open by the light of the moon. They certainly deserve to be eaten." Just then, the midnight bells rang out in all the churches in the town, and the sound floated up on the still air over the sparkling snow. And then from high up under the silent singing stars, there came a faint jingling of sleigh bells. And all at once, old Ephraim felt very jolly and full of fun. "Won't those moles feel foolish if they woke up and found themselves not eaten?" he chuckled. "And maybe just for fun, I'll give that letter to whoever it is up in that sleigh. Maybe he knows the fat man in the red suit." So there it was on Christmas morning that moles woke up feeling very foolish for having fallen asleep out in the open and found themselves not eaten. And there beside them on the chimney was a beautiful shining telescope. "You see," said Delver, "all it took was a chimney, and I didn't even have to swap my stone, marble, and glass collection." But the joke wasn't only on the moles, because when old Ephraim woke up that afternoon, he found a nicely wrapped package inside the door of the hollow tree where he lived. Inside the package was an elegant striped necktie and a card that said, "Season's greetings to a jolly good fellow from the fat man in the red suit. Best regards, S. Claus." So that was the mole family's first Christmas, and they were very pleased about it. On top of the chimney, they made an owl-proof observatory out of an upside-down flower pot, and then they were able to look out at the stars in perfect comfort. "I think Delver did very well to find out about Christmas," said Emma. "Yes," said Harley, "you never can tell what will happen when a person like Delver puts his mind to something. Here am I, who never expected to see a single star looking at all of them. I call that impressive. It really is like singing, the way they glimmer and shine," said Delver. Even Delver's mouse friends, who were not at all nearsighted, found that they enjoyed viewing the stars through a telescope, and now they visit the mole's observatory often. Old Ephraim wears his necktie constantly, and although he still hunts the moles regularly, he has not yet managed to catch one. There's been talk of using the mole chimney next Christmas for all the local animals, and the mice are already at work on their letters to the fat man in the red suit. So is old Ephraim, who, being somewhat more knowledgeable, will address his to S. Claus. All right, so before we end, I just want to say, hold on. The first time I heard this story, I think I was much more like Delver than I knew, because I couldn't see the stars until I was 8 and got glasses. And so when I heard it, I too was like, well, they're just up there. So, what I would like to say is that there are pearls of wisdom right here in our little mole friends. Seemingly impossible things are out there, which might never come to fruition, dreams that we can barely conceive, like peace and joy and a world of indescribable beauty. We mustn't get our hopes too high, but we throw ourselves wholeheartedly into our work. So, may you throw yourself wholeheartedly into your year's dreams, fantasies, and outlandish goals.
Okay, as you can tell, we are going to be doing jingle bells next. So as the kids get into place and get their bells, you may all prepare to join us by rising in body and or spirit as you are listening. And as soon as we get everything passed out, I will bring you in with that. Here we go.
We come here every morning on Sunday, craving community. We come to share our stories with one another, the triumphs, the tribulations, even the flaws. Sharing that which burdens and lifts us is one of the many ways we weave this community together. If you have anything that you would like to share privately, please seek out one of our growing number of lay ministers who wear the cocoonut lei, and they will sit and listen and give fabulous advice. If you wish to share your thoughts with the entire community, please record it in the Book of Life, which sits on the podium just on the side of the sanctuary. We do have a sorrow this morning shared by Phil Morris, who is back at Tripler for observation after a rough day. He had several falls over the past couple of days, and Dorothy would very much appreciate some calls. If you have a sorrow that is sitting on your heart and you would like to lift it up this morning, please do so. Either speak it or think it as my hand passes over the sanctuary.
Chelsea Man, Steve Ware.
Let us hold these together close. We have many joys in our Book of Life this morning, and it makes me so joyful. I'm smiling like an idiot. So Maggie, our lovely Maggie, is her 13th birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the teenager Batman. She's away in Oregon right now, but her family holds her here in their hearts, and we all hold her together. Hey, teenager. Also, we are excited, we, the royal we, but all of us, are excited that our community's daughter, but also Charlotte and Veronica's daughter, Jillian, is home for a holiday. Let the good times rock. Oh, and we have another one. Kanoa is home for the holidays. Michaela's home. So many prodigal daughters and sons. The Castaneros also want us to let us know, the paternal side, they bought a new house. So they'll be moving to Kamehameha Heights in early January. Dawn Shin is excited that she will begin teaching science at Waimahi High School in January. And she will be completing her last semester towards her education master's. Congratulations. And our final joy is Sally Torres and Season Green from Southern California. She is happy in lovely senior residence in San Juan Obispo. Yes. If you have any joy that you would like to add to these many and varied joys, please speak it or think it as my hand crosses the sanctuary.
The band.
Roger Wickenden.
The band.
Our EE education program.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. We hold both these sorrows and these joys, both spoken and unspoken. Thank you for sharing all of those with us this morning. And we will shift to meditation, led by Jeff Gillis.
Take a moment to settle yourself down. Take a deep breath. Feel your body connect down through the floor to the ground, to the earth. Take another breath. Allow your breathing to become steady and calm. Turn your mind inward and imagine a favorite person. It could be your parent, or your partner, or a dear friend. See them sitting there. Their face lights up when they see you and hug you. You are thrilled to see them because you have something in your pocket for them. You reach your hand into your pocket and pull out a package. Their face lights up with joy. You hand them the gift and they smile and laugh. As they unwrap the gift, you feel your love for them, and you feel your heart, and in your heart you can't help but smile. Your joy and their joy are all mixed up, and you can't tell where one begins and the other ends. You both realize at the same time that joy in each other is the gift you have found. Let that joyous feeling fill your being. Let your mind remember what it is to feel true joy. And let it be a reminder to you about what matters now and in the days to come. Joy is something that always comes from the inside first. And it is one of the best gifts we can give ourselves and others. May you find joy this holiday season.
At this time, I'd like to invite our RE families to come up front and take their places for a special treat we have for you. The ABCs of Unitarian Holidays. This here is a little parody of Winter Wonderland, and we have the words up here, and so we do invite you, as you're sitting and enjoying our children and their families, that you would join along and sing with us too.
A is for atheists, agnostics, and all, sharing these holidays.
God, large, and small. B is for babies and brothers and others. C is for a child and sung that we sing. D for Darth Vader.
Who made bad choices. Hopefully we raise our voices and make good choices. E is for evergreen. Eggnog and elves, as you use, we acknowledge. We educate ourselves.
F is for our freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and
People play.
H is for healthcare, universal rights. H is for helping fight the good fight. I is for and ignorance, neither of which we have in this church.
J is for justice and joy in Jesus. These things together are motivators, powerful psychokinesis.
K is for kids, practicing kindness and joy to better the lives of each girl and boy.
L is for lights and laughter and lists. And crazy Christmas days are warm and sun-kissed.
M is for mindfulness, minorities and menorah.
N is for Noel and Namaste, plus all the nog you might drink today. O is for octopus with 8 arms to love. O is also for opinions, but mostly for octopus.
For questions, queries, and mysteries.
R is for our rights, whomever we may be. Each of us should feel safe, loved, and free. And here we go. Later on, by the ocean, as we dream, we'll conspire to face unafraid the plans that we made, living in a new wonderland.
S is for solstice, it's long winter night, so our beaches remain a sunny bright light. T is for truth and our freedom to search, and also for trees, tinsel, chains, silk, and toys. U is for unicorns, umbrellas, uncles, understanding, uniform income tax, and Unitarian Universalists. There, I said it, relax. E is for victory, over oppression, ignorance, and hate. We use our voices to better our fate.
Tell me, what? What's that? We'll do our best.
X marks the spot. We cross our hearts where we know what is true.
Why? Because you are you.
Z is for Z.
They are our dreams we all hold in our minds of love and of peace and of being so kind.
Our parents will dream that we'll sleep through the night.
And all of you's dream of holidays done right.
Here we are on the water, sharing times like we ought to. Together today on this holiday,
Today we're giving money to Helping Hands of Hawaii's and the families that we adopted.
Very much for these gifts this morning. And now we have the closing words.
Please join us in the closing words. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "Be over." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky.
And with those words we say together, Amama, blessed be, Amen, Salam, Shalom, Namaste, Gasho. And we have Hayden and Owen that's going to help us extinguish the chalice.
We extinguished the flame, but the light it gives will never go out. With the glorious sun and our warm hearts, love will light the way.
Thank you. And now I ask that we rise in body and or spirit as you are willing and able for Here Comes the Sun. You can join hands if you'd like, sing along if you know the words, dance around, enjoy.
Here comes the sun.
And the sun did come out while we were singing. And now, our song of peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a hand for Katie Ackerman? Put this show on.